Pixar, the company that revolutionized animation by introducing the concept of computer-generated animation. Their movies embodied our childhood by taking the things we liked as children and turning them to wild and imaginative stories with the most memorable characters ever written. And while their movies weren't always the best, they were still financial and critical successes. Their winning streak, however, came to an end with 2015's The Good Dinosaur. Allow me to make one thing clear. Unlike the previous two movies, I have no nostalgic attachment to The Good Dinosaur. I didn't grow up with it, I didn't watch it in theaters, nothing. All the experience I had with it was the reviews and its reputation. My experience with this movie is rather recent, but I'll still try to be fair with it. Now, The Good Dinosaur. It's not a bad movie. Let me make this clear. It is not a bad movie. It has a charming theme, a character I understood what he goes through with the pressure of doing something of value like the rest of his family, some funny characters, and menacing looking villains. But the problem here, it's a Pixar movie, a brand known for quality writing, and sadly, The Good Dinosaur was pretty average. Or you know what? Even without comparing it to Pixar's other movies, it is still an average movie with its share of issues. The premise of the movie is the dinosaurs not getting extinct because the comet missed the Earth. But if you took that out of the movie, you wouldn't notice any significant change. Millions of years and dinosaurs are still dinosaurs, except they're now smarter and the humans are animals. You would think they'd do something like the dinosaurs show, but no. And since this is already cartoony and having cavemen was not a spoiler, then there was no need for that other than to subvert our expectations for a quick joke. The story is about Arlo, the little runt of the Apatosaurus family, who runs a corn farm. Arlo was weak and a coward and under the pressure of the family to earn his mark. His father decides to teach Arlo a lesson by making him catch whatever was eating the corn storage, who turned out to be the feral cave boy. Arlo's father sacrifices himself to save his injured son. Arlo finds his father's killer and the two of them ended up lost, and Arlo is forced to work with the murderer if he wants to return home. Now compared to the previous two movies, this one is indeed closer to The Land Before Time in premise. Main character is a sauropod child. He loses his parent due to a sacrifice. He's lost and needs to reach home, needs to get along with someone they can't stand. They work together to defeat the villain, and they reach home by the end. There was even this joke that looks like it was lifted from The Land Before Time. One wonders if it was intentional. Great bulk of the movie is Arlo trying to get along with the cave boy, who he names Spot. And on their way, they meet a variety of characters who are interesting, but they don't stay for too long. I especially love the Tyrannosaurus ranchers. But I think the best characters were the pterosaurs here. Not only we finally have dinosaur villains who are actual characters instead of the usual growling animals of the past, but I also like them being the most dangerous villains here. Pterosaurs tend to be portrayed as cannon fodder that dies quickly and the big bad theropod being the most dangerous thing. But here, they are the most dreaded creatures with interesting personalities. There are many scenes that doesn't have dialogue. They rely only on facial expressions and body language to get their point across, and some may like this aspect of the movie. Character designs are cute and charming and throws back to the old classic dinosaur designs. One thing I like about the designs of the raptors and the pterosaurs, having a style that reminds me of old Disney animation with the big round eyes and the bushy eyebrows. These designs, however, were also one of the problems of the movie. You have these amazing looking backgrounds that look so real, and then you see these extremely cartoony designs plastered over it and it's extremely clashing. For many people, this just doesn't work, and I think I have to agree here. If you're going with exaggerating your character designs, then go all the way and make the world exaggerated as well. It's not like this is a realistic tale to begin with. For a Pixar movie, the plot and execution are weak for standards. Pixar movies are known for being imaginative, wild, and able to make the silliest concepts work, presenting us with memorable stories and characters that are still resonating with us to this day. The Good Dinosaur, on the other hand, is pretty standard for a dinosaur movie with a lot of derivative and cliched ideas. But was it so unimpressive it led to bomb at the box office? Let's take a look at the release day. It opened in America in November 25th, 2015. That means it was competing against Big Hero 6, Spectre, The Peanuts Movie, Victor Frankenstein, Creed, and The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Next month, it was competing against Krampus, The Hateful Eight, Alvin and the Chipmunks Road Trip, but most importantly, Star Wars The Force Awakens. And everybody knows when you have Star Wars, everything else is minute. Another big issue that led to the weak box office returns was the marketing costs. The production budget is estimated between $175 million to $200 million. The marketing budget costed $150 million, making the total budget about $350 million. Yes, nearly 40% of the budget was just to market the movie, from billboards, posters, TV spots, merchandising, and in return, the movie made a total of $332.2 million from global revenue in domestic and foreign home entertainment and TV sales, making it lose $85 million unadjusted to inflation. Sometimes I complain about lacking marketing for certain movies, but seeing how costly it is, then I don't blame them. I also heard that trailers were a big factor in this because they showed a lot. And as we all know, if it shows a lot, then there's no need to watch the movie. When it comes to the production, there's a lot to take here. The movie was directed by Peter Sohn, but initially it was going to be him co-directing with Bob Peterson, who co-directed Up and co-wrote Finding Nemo on Cars 3, and the one who conceived the idea of The Good Dinosaur back in 2009. Initially announced as the untitled Pixar movie about dinosaurs in June 2011 by Bob Peterson and producer John Walker, who produced The Incredibles, with a release date of November 27, 2013. Later details were revealed at D23 Expo on August 20, 2011, and on April 24, 2012, it was titled The Good Dinosaur, with a new release date moving it from November 27, 2013 to May 30, 2014, with Frozen taking its place in that slot. At D23 Expo on August 19, 2013, the voice cast was announced, and it included Lucas Neff, John Lithgow, Frances McDormand, Neil Patrick Harris, Judy Greer, and Bill Hader. What was noticeable there, however, was the absence of Peterson and Walker. Sadly, they were removed from the film due to story problems. From what I've researched, Peterson was having difficulty with the film's third act and had to leave and give the project to Peterson to finish it. Walker, on the other hand, left the project to work on Tomorrowland and was replaced with Denise Ream as the producer. The movie then was delayed yet again to November 25, 2015, where Finding Dory was originally going to be released at. The reason for the delay, according to Ream, was story problems, or according to her word, the story was not working. Period. Full stop. It just was not where it needed to be. Pixar general manager and president Jim Morris also said the story had fatal flaws that none of them really saw, like the dinosaur culture presented in it. Early footage shown at 2013's D23 Expo showed Arlo as a huge dinosaur with a very tiny spot. But this was changed because the people who saw the footage could not see a connection between them. This reception led to completely reimagine the movie. In October 2014, Sohn was officially announced as the new director of the movie. A month later, it was reported that new elements were added to the story, like putting more emphasis on nature itself and making it an antagonistic force in the movie. After the announcement of reimagining the movie, some voice actors expected to redo their lines again. However, on June 12, 2015, it was announced the movie is getting an all-new cast. Raymond Okwa replacing Lucas Neff as Arlo, with Jack McGraw as young Arlo, Jeffrey Wright replacing John Lithgow as Papa Henry, and Marcus Strabner replacing Bill Hader as Buck with Ryan Teeble as young Buck. New cast voicing new characters are Jack Bright as Spot, Malia Padilla as Libby, Steve Zahn as Thunderclap, Mandy Freund as Downpour, Stephen Clay Hunter as Coldfront, Sam Elliott as Butch, AJ Buckley as Nash, Anna Paquin as Ramsey, Dave Boyd as Bubba, Carrie Pfaff as Lurleen, Mackenzie Grant as Purvis, and John Ratzenberg as Earl. The only voice actor remaining from the original cast is Frances McDormand as Mama Ada. Peter Sohn also voiced the character Forrest Woodbush. Now that we learned the history of its production, it's easy to see how this movie didn't do great. The story, apparently, was too difficult to make. It led to numerous delays and changes to plot and characters, and all the competition from the other stronger movies, it led to an inflated budget they couldn't earn back. So much time was wasted on just writing the third act, it led to people leaving the project. Then there was the issue of revisioning the entire movie within 2 years. Not to mention the new voice cast that had to do their lines and animate in less than 5 months. It's a miracle they didn't delay it further or release it in an incomplete state. Come to think about it, it could explain the amount of dialogue-free scenes in the movie and short screen time for the side characters. But on the other hand, it explains why the movie ended up as lackluster as it did. They couldn't come up with a great story of their own, so they ended up using all the cliches that didn't work as well as it was intended. And so, The Good Dinosaur was a tragic case of unfortunate chain of events, and now, the infamy of this movie being Pixar's first financial disappointment is remembered more than what happens in the movie itself. Also, side note, this DVD is stupid. No behind the scenes footage, no making of extras, no trailers, just a Pixar short and a standard commentary that tells us how these scenes were made instead of telling us what happened during the production. Lame!